Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Banao Bharat's Trading for Living Friday live session. Just about 10 minutes to go for the market close. But what we need to observe for the day is the way Nifty has broken out of the range, and finally today there was some really good upward movement, or at least good trend on one side. You can see this is the chart of Nifty. Yesterday it had made a high of 18,867 and the low of around 18,734. Today it opened slightly higher than yesterday's low. In fact, yesterday it had closed at the lowest point of the day. Today it takes support at yesterday's low. It doesn't anytime go even close to yesterday's low, and from there on, from the morning itself, there was all the signs of good upward movement. So makes a low of 18,771 in the first candle, and very convincingly takes out yesterday's high of 18,867, which is from the morning's low. If you see, it is about 100 points upward movement before it could touch yesterday's high. But this is the place where it starts the good volume, and you can see here after the breakout of yesterday's high, it continuously goes up and makes a new high at 18,955, and now slightly comes down before the close, currently trading at 18,880, but still having broken out of the range after a long time, 18,842, 18,867, and now today's high is a convincing weekly closing high. So this is a convincing move upward, and next week probably we will see 18,998, which was the previous high that we had seen in December. So a good day for Nifty players, and today being Friday, Sensex also was under weekly expiry. This is the chart of Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty also yesterday closes at the lowest point in time. 43,571 was yesterday's close, and today straight away opens at 43,600, slightly above yesterday's low, and from there on continuously goes up, finds the resistance at yesterday's high of 44,180. 44,180 was actually a resistance level. It exactly comes to resistance level, makes a high of 234, and from there on starts falling. Currently trading at 43,959. For the Nifty players, it's important that we understand the price pattern now. It's very important on the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, if you see, after 2 weeks of very small range, and in spite of making higher highs on a weekly basis, it was a very small range and very frustrating for most of the traders. This week it has been closing really in a good manner, and it is all the way indicating we will very convincingly take out 18,998 on Monday morning, and we are heading towards much higher levels from here on. In fact, if it all it had to if the reversal trend had to happen, it had to happen this week, but this week also it somehow held on to the lows, and it once again took out the highs of last week. So if you can see the pattern here on the weekly chart, 16,866 was the low. From there on it has been continuously moving up, and this towards the December high, it is getting prepared itself with convincing close. We are almost closing above 18,900 now on the futures chart. On the spot it is around 18,820. So we are very close to 998. Probably Monday or Tuesday we should be taking out the highs, and from there on there is a very wide open area that comes up for Nifty. So after that it's anybody's game. There are no sell levels, there are no new buy levels. It's just a open area. Any breakout is like that. Whenever you see a breakout, generally breakout after breakout there won't be any new levels. So it is very difficult to give the targets also. The moment any index or script enters into uncharted territory, then it becomes anybody's game. And because it is a breakout on the higher side, most of the stocks are also looking good. It is an indication, like, if in the coming week Nifty breaks 18998, which is December's high, then probably we are not going to stop, or we are not going to just kiss last December's high and we are not supposed to come down. I think we are headed much higher levels. So that is my take based on the charts, based on the data patterns. So let us see how the things go. First thing is, like, we need to see when it takes out 18,998. Either it happens on Monday, or it happens on Tuesday, or much later. If it once again falters next week without coming close to 18,998, and if it makes a lower low in terms of weekly close for this week, the low is 18,624. If it comes closer to 18,998, does not cross, and comes down and makes a lower low, then very big downfall also can be anticipated. But for now, the way the positioning of the trades are going on, the way today being Friday, the way it has taken out the breakout level of 18,867 on the intraday chart, and the way it is closing now, I am more hopeful that, like, this breakout will do well, and we are probably headed towards much higher levels. But then, having said that, we all know how the markets function, so we can't take anything for granted. Always take your positions based on your own judgment, based on your own intuition, based on your own gut feeling, and based on your own past observation of the data points. From our data points, from the way we see the data, it is very clear, like, breakout is in the offing, so we might see a good breakout. But you need not take any of our words. No, nobody is an expert here. Everyone is playing the probability game. The moment we say there is a probability of reversal or not happening, so we should always keep in mind, like, some scenarios may never get played out. This looks a very high likely scenario, like, it might break out on the higher side, but based on our past observation, in spite of breaking out, it might not sustain, or it might, like, keep going higher. There is, whenever we see this kind of a data pattern, we say, like, there is about 70% chances, if the high is taken out, then it might go much higher. But always there is 30 to 35% possibility that this time it may play differently. So always keep those things in mind. Do not take anybody's words for that matter. Do your own judgment, because these are all free information that we are providing based on whatever limited knowledge or limited experience that we have about the markets. Anybody can go wrong, including you and me. Well, let us at least, like, close the day with a small comment on Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty, having made a high of 44,235, is now trading at 44,000. It has quickly fallen in the last two candles. After there was one big candle here, good green candle, but that green candle did not sustain, and it has come down. So Bank Nifty has already crossed the previous high, and it is continuing to trade in the previous high zone itself for last 44,248. After having crossed 44,248, it made a high of 44,545, and in Bank Nifty last week high was 44,545. It was not taken out, and this week we have made a lower low in Bank Nifty already. Yes, there is some amount of support at 43,385 if it comes there. Yesterday it has made a low of what, 43,526. So there is a small support at 43,385. If that gets touched, then probably, like, it might make one more attempt at going higher. Otherwise it might continue to fall down. Well, Bank Nifty has already crossed previous high, but it has not traveled much. After crossing over 44,248, it has just crossed by about 200 points, which is nothing for a long-term chart. And Nifty, we are more hopeful this time it will, like, trade above 19,000 for longer period of time. Well, having said that, let us all once again reconvene on Monday morning and see how whether will we make a new yearly high for this year, because 18,998 is last year's high, 2022 high stands at 18,998. 2023 we have still not made any new high, any new lifetime high. Probably we might get a chance in the coming week. Let us witness that breaking and making of a new high for this calendar year 2023. Let us see how the trading goes on Monday morning. Until then, Om Swasti.